Well, folks, welcome back to Lucore Automotive. Today, we get to do something I always talk about. One of my favorite phrases is, a dyno is a tool. And today, we're going to use this tool to figure out a problem. Our friends over at Fields. Sir, good to see you again.
Good to see you.
You may have recognized this gentleman from a couple of weeks ago when we filled with their Scioto Coupe. But they do a lot of race car support, and this is a race car you guys support. So we have an E46 BMW M3, still E46 powered.
Correct.
That is having some misbehaving problems.
Yeah, basically the owner noticed power degradation and degradation of lap times as a result, and we're digging into that. It looks like probably exhaust cam timing related, but you know, we find sometimes the quickest way to the root of a problem is to simulate the behavior, and so the dyno is a great tool for that.
Other than just strapping somebody down on the hood and going at it down the highway?
As much fun as that can be, the State Highway Patrol intervenes every so often, especially when there's no plate on the back and a wing on top.
Right. Sir, oh, this is gonna be a problem. So the good news is the dyno where this dyno used to be is also where this car was last dynoed. So we can have the old data to be able to compare and contrast currently versus what it was when it was last tuned.
Exactly.
So we'll be able to figure that out. Also, we can do a lot of telemetry figuring out and fiddling with, because we can drive it on this instead of driving it down the road. And if you need to check wiring problems or whatever else, it's truly a tool. It's not just for making pretty dyno graphs and being able to brag to your friends how much power you make. So we're gonna do some dynoing stuff today. Welcome aboard, folks. Hope you're gonna enjoy this. We should enjoy it. Yeah, hang around.
What did it say? It said no oil pressure below 15.
Good warning.
Yeah.
If you see 15 oil pressure, you're already toast. I hate to tell you this, but the damage is already done. So what does this run in? I see a NASA sticker here.
Typically it runs in WRL. It's running NASA ST3 as well.
Okay.
But one of the kind of interesting things about these cars and why we support them is that they can run in sprint series like NASA ST3 or Grid Life in GLTC. You can turn around and run them in World Racing League WRL or ADR, other endurance series. And in places like WRL, you're going to be out on track with professionally built factory race cars like you know, an M235R or cars like that. Even sometimes GT4 cars like the M4 GT4.
Wow.
And these cars are a really great opportunity to see how your drivers stack up, how your strategy stacks up, your preparation. Endurance racing starts to get into aspects that your normal sprint race just doesn't, and so at the same time, there are only so many endurance races out there. There's only so many sanctioning bodies, and so more racing opportunities exist if you can also do sprint racing like NASA ST3 or Grid Life. Yeah,
build it to go across multiple different aspects.
Yeah.
She's definitely had some track time too. She's
well, endurance cars are, you know, they're beautiful when they win.
Yeah, I get it. That's a nice looking ride. Something I do want to also address very quickly. This is exactly how we like to see a race car come in. With bugs on it, and dirt on it, and rock chips on it, and paint touch-ups. That means you've been driving your car. There is nothing more frustrating for somebody who works on race cars than somebody building a great machine that's designed to go out and turn laps and do what it's supposed to do, and it comes in completely clean with no signs of being abused. This thing is built to be abused. I'm glad to see it's been abused. Thank you. Thank you, sir. From all of us, thank you. Nope. No tax signal. things that drives me nuts about dyno videos, and if you're here just for the 15 seconds of fun, hopefully you enjoyed that, but far too often people are not using this tool or showing the proper usage of this tool. All it is about making that pole, making the dyno graph, and that's it. Moving on. Thanks for the 15 seconds of excitement. But there's a lot that goes into a dyno day. There's a process that goes into this, and there's a reason that you're going to have these lines that show up on these screens. You know, being able to figure out what the lines are, why the lines are, how you can modify those lines, what's maybe changed that's changing the lines, environmental conditions, mechanical conditions, even could be difference between dynos. Now, fortunately, we're able to compare this thing from what it was originally to this dyno, this car, this computer, just in another setting. So apples to apples is a lot easier, but your results that you're going to get on one dyno to another dyno, even if they're both DynoJets, like this is a DynoJet series. If you take this to another DynoJet, it may not necessarily run exactly the same numbers. You may have some, change in that output, and it's almost impossible to compare apples to apples unless both of those apples are being tested at the same place. If that makes sense. But figuring out things, making progress. Fields guys are doing their thing. Race car support stuff. Not a bad way to spend a day, isn't it? This is working. Diagnosing, checking, improving. It's a tool. Useful tool as a mechanic. This way you can simulate drivings, you can simulate passes, you can get telemetry in a safe environment. And now we can figure out why this thing is slightly down on power. That's what it's all about, though. It's not always about the dyno numbers. It's why you're making those dyno numbers. So, what did we learn, Rob?
I think what we really learned here was some of the wiring fixes that we made in the shop ahead of coming to the dyno today did alleviate the issue that the customer was seeing with the variable valve timing in the car.
Okay.
And we were able to verify, back-to-back dyno runs against prior dyno runs before he had this issue. We see we're making similar power, similar torque, and most importantly, the curve is identical, which means that we're not seeing any different engine management intervention than we were seeing before.
Yep.
So whatever he had before, he has again now. And there were a number of electrical things that we addressed before coming over here today, and this is ultimately the best validation we can hope for without going to the track.
Right.
Those fixes were effective.
Check and verify.
That's exactly right.
Absolutely. And especially here in Central Ohio, where track days are not exactly easy to come by.
Especially in November.
As we're getting cold. Believe it or not, it actually is going to be cold today. But I say over and over again, the thing with the dyno is it's a really great tool.
Absolutely.
It's not just making a pretty sheet and making dyno graphs. It's a tool to be able to use for diagnostic and verification of things.
And sometimes in our racing series, it's also just a requirement to show that you're making legal power.
Also true.
And so it's ultimately, it's funny, we oftentimes end up asking tuners to make less power. We spend a lot of time on the dyno trying to get down to our power numbers. Right. So we might use it a little bit unconventionally from a lot of people, but you're absolutely right. Ultimately, it's a phenomenal tool for everything we do.
Well, glad we could help you guys out.
Yeah, always appreciate it.
Thanks, sir. There you go, guys. E46 M3. Repaired by the Fields guys, dynoed by us over here at the Lucore place. And off to go do some on-track shenanigans here in the semi-near future. Thanks for being here, guys. If you enjoy this kind of thing, there's going to be a lot more of it to come. We're just starting to play with our new DynoJet. We'll see you guys on the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Take care. Bye-bye.